Should go live. It's now streaming. If I remove this. You can talk to the people.
Can I talk to the people? There's no people there.
There might be.
No, there's nobody.
I'll pop this out so you can look at it.
See
while
here.
we try to fix it.
While we try to fix it.
Well, I try
Pop
to
that
fix
out.
it.
Nobody's there.
See?
You
Someone
wanna-
said they can't see.
Well, we can't see either, so that's why Trevor's just disappeared under the console.
No, they can't see me, so they don't know that I just disappeared.
Well, I'm telling them. Trevor's underneath the console right now trying to figure out what's going on with the live.
It's the camera.
Okay, so we
What's
show
going
it's...
on with the camera.
There's one person watching and we're live, but there's no camera feed. We don't know why. It briefly was up when I sat down.
Well, it froze out of the blue and
So we don't know what's going on. So it's not dark, it's the camera's not working, but I still am here. So you can't see, I can't see you. Well, I never can see you. So we're trying to figure out as we go live. So who are you? Who are you? Yeah, just everybody put their hands up in the air. I got my hands up. Feel around. See if you can figure out where you're at. Well, we'll see what happens. So, yeah, that just is weird. It was working, and then it froze, and then it just went away. And back. Trevor has an idea. This may not be good. This may not go well. Welcome, everyone, to Legends Live in the Dark. Can't even have a campfire. We're so dark. Just got in from the mountains, so I had 5 minutes. So I literally just clicked everything up.
that's not going to work.
And
Same cable as the mic.
that was, we were hoping this would work. Everybody's blind, so... I don't know. Yeah, let us know. Well, we're not getting any picture or anything. Spooky story time.
Volume is low also.
Volume is low. And
We can be patient.
so we can be patient. Well, yeah, you can, but I'll lose my patience. We'll just kind of move along. I mean... Oh, there we are. Nope, there we are. Are we there? For real?
I don't know why it did that, but okay.
We're kind of crooked, but I'm not going to touch anything. What do we need to do? We need to stand to be straight. Don't mess with it.
Now it's straight, right?
Yes, there we are. There you are.
Uh-huh. Someone said I'm blind.
Yes. There we
There
are.
you go.
All right. Hey, wow, we did it. Thank you, Trevor. I wouldn't take much of a bow. The microphone wasn't even hooked up because you took the cable again and forgot to put it back. All right. Fetch me food, boy. That didn't work. Okay, just shut the door. So there we are. We are finally here. Yeah, I didn't shave today. I was tired and I had to go out in the mountains. And then you should always do that in the mountains and not shave that day. So today was a not shave day. It's not a beard, it's a stubble. It's a gray stubble. But anyways, so was out in the mountains, and then we do this, and then I get a shower and sleep tonight, and then I go back in the mountains, and then back to the mountains Sunday. So, and Trevor, who knows what he did. But yeah, it did come up, but it wasn't going streaming. It was really weird. And then he walked in the door, and I said, hey, something's wrong with all this. And then it froze, and then we were done. And yeah, it was just from last week. So I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm over it. So there we are, Friday. Legends Live. Another week. And another week of the Dawns camp. And then tomorrow, for those local, is Sharon Collenborn's funeral at Lost Dutchman State Park at 1 p.m. So I was told, let everybody know. I was kind of surprised at that. I figured they wanted to keep it friends and family. But it will be at Lost Dutchman State Park. So we'll be out there tomorrow for that. So to say goodbye to Sharon. Sharon passed away sometime in November. I'm trying to remember the date. The family decided to wait through the holidays and so forth. So, but it's been a while, and so same location that we said goodbye to Tom at. So there we go. So now that we're up and running and all, Garden Valley, Saturday, February 10th. That'll be the hike, the Dawns. That'll be the 90th anniversary of the first trek, and it'll be the day. The first trek was on February 11th, so we'll be a day early. So it'll be 89 years, 364 days. But it's still close enough, and we will be leading the hike to the original trek site through First Water Ranch, kind of talking about the things through there. And then we'll go up to Garden Valley, and which is called Indian Gardens on the brochure thing. And we're going to kind of put something together for it. But that'll be the trip, and that'll be... I haven't got the exact start time. We'll get that in this next week. But, yes, we're getting close to that. So, and that is, 2 weeks away? I'm trying to keep track of everything because... So it wouldn't be next year. It'd be 2 weeks away. So we got a little time. And we'll post something on Facebook about it and all. And that'll be members of the Dawns. And we'll be out there. And like I said, we'll be... talking about some of this stuff. The Lost Dutchman Parade for Lost Dutchman Days is February 24th. So you can go out there. I won't be there at that. And then March 15th is the 32nd Annual Treasure Hunter of the Year Awards. So we're down to the last 3 or 4. Four? I think it's the last 4 before Bob Shoes and I pass it along, not us along. Was it a great day in the mountains? Yes, it was. It was really nice. It was cool. It was breezy. It really was odd because as I was driving out, there was a lot of haze and there's a lot of moisture from the rain we just had. And the mountains were obscured. You couldn't see them coming out. And then they kind of came out, but it was very hazy. I thought, wow, that kind of sucked. And it was, anything in the distance was hazy, but where we were, the mountains nearby were all very clear. The air is very fresh. And the dust was kicked down. We saw a baby tarantula today. Never really have seen a baby one, but it was really small. And it was a tarantula, and it was a baby one. And it was out. And that was kind of neat. And it was just kind of nice to get out, getting that time of the year where you get out all the time and get to breathe. So even though there's always so much to do, and like I said, this weekend's kind of a nightmare of the running around back and forth and everything else. If I had my way about it, I would have went out there Thursday night and stayed till Sunday and just stayed out there in between, but couldn't do that. Hello from sunny Prescott. From sunny Prescott. Is Prescott sunny? The sun came out this afternoon. It was a little bit cloudy. We were watching the clouds. The sky was very blue with the cliffs, and the clouds were moving fast, so it was kind of neat. Did some cloud watching, so I enjoyed it. It was kind of nice. A little bit hectic. I had an apple fritter. So there. So it must have been a good day. What's up, Big W? Big W. That is a new one, but I haven't been called Big W before. So there was all that. Kind of got all that time put in, and that was nice. Restful and kind of... It's just nice. I mean, January this year, I'll get out there 5 or 6 times this month. And then next month, then back again and kind of like... So it was nice. It was just the hectic part of it as much as I enjoyed it. It was getting back, and I kind of forgot about the live, and I thought, well, I'll get back. It'll be a few minutes late. But I had to get back, and then I had to walk in, and it was literally give the dogs treats and come in here and try to get this thing fired up. So didn't even really get to take a breath and breathe for a minute and all that. So it was jumping from the mountains and then here. So straight from the mountains. Wayne, if the Spanish were able to prospect their way to the... with all that modern equipment and techniques, find it back to it again. Well, one, all that stuff was covered up. If you've read the books, the Apaches say after the massacres, the Spanish mines and the superstitions, they went out and covered a lot of them up. There's a story of where one Apache was out in the superstitions and saw one of the ranchers. It's either LaBarge or Charlie Boy. One of the ranchers, he told them, I see you on, $1 million mine. But you walk right over it. And the idea is that the Apache said literally they covered the mine so well you could drive a wagon over it and you wouldn't even know it's there. And the story always was they covered them all except one. So no one's ever uncovered any of the others unless they have and nobody's been able to put it together. But that was one of the stories. They covered the women and the children and some of the elderly went up and covered all the mines. So that's one problem. The Spanish were able to find it because they were able to see the surface deposits, which we can't see because they mined those. And there's still, you find, there's placer areas and you can find some gold and stuff. And they also, the art of being able to read the foliage and the bushes and the trees and stuff and understanding kind of how that works, that is kind of something of a lost art of people being able to look at the ground and the land and everything around it and understand that the mineral contents and how that can affect everything, the colors of what you see. Hi brother, long time no see you, hope all is well. Hey Jeff, and I'm surprised you saw any bugs with the lizard men running around out there. Yes, there were no lizard men either. We avoided the lizard men. Wouldn't the placer gold still lead back to it? Well, if it's breaking off and running, remember, you're talking the difference between placer and some of it breaking off, and if whether or not where that placer is coming from, and additionally, you're talking about a lode mine that's a pit mine going down. So who knows what level that gold would be at and where and how it would work. It wouldn't be, it's normal lode mines, you think it's a tunnel and you go in it, and then, the mineralization and stuff and the tailings, and they go down and you're in the creek down below or the wash, and you can go down there and pan and find, and work your way up. This is a place that's higher up in the mountain, up on a cliff in an arroyo, and it's going to be much more difficult to kind of track it. And that was one of the original premises of our TV show, was we were supposed to do just that, is take the placers we knew of in the area and start going around and prospecting and see if we could find lode sources to those. That got derailed. So, and I don't even want to go into that nightmare. But yeah, that got derailed. That was a great idea, and I thought it was a good thing, and with the history would play to it. And that was what we were supposed to do, is take Woody and Frank and the claims that they knew of and a couple others, and we were going to just coordinate those and go out and start prospecting and searching to see if we could find how that gravel or that gold has traveled in those areas. El Capitan, have you ever went to the east hiking out towards Globe? Yes, I've been out the eastern superstitions and out in Globe in those areas, because that's the eastern superstitions, actually north of there in Superior, north of Superior and out that way in Pinot Creek and those areas. Yes, I've spent time out there. Actually, right now, there's a project going on. A number of individuals, they went out, and the Tony Ranch cabin was in really bad shape, and the roof needed repaired. So they went and they got some corrugated roofing that would match. Then they had a galvanizing on it, so they had that removed, whatever it was, something to protect it so it would age and match the rest of the roof. And then I don't know when the date's going to be, but someone packed in some equipment and a ladder, and then there's going to be a time where everybody meets out there, and then we're going to have to take these sheets of roofing and materials and stuff and hike them back in there for 3 hours and get them in and then repair that roof. So I think that's all been cleared with the Forest Service and everything else. They got all that worked out, but that is a project this spring they're working on. That's Jack Carlson and a number of other people, and great deal that is awesome that they're doing that. So, But that's a lot of work, man. That's a 3 hour trip in, 3 hour trip out. And it's not going to be an easy 3 hour trip in carrying these panels, which I think are 10 feet long. So it's going to take several people for each panel to carry them in. And then I don't know which trail they're using, because they have to take a route of trail that they're going to be able to manage to carry this stuff. So that's going to be that. Would you mind tell us where your current best guest location is? No. I always liked, because of the activity, the prospects, a lot of the tunnels and things I found around in the area of LaBarge and Needle Canyon, north and south of Bluff Springs, and I would have to say out by Whiskey Springs and all that. Always kind of, there's something intriguing in Coffee Flat. As much as people looked at them, you have to wonder what people looked for, what they were doing. I've just run into way too many things out in those areas that tells me that, there was a lot of activity at one time. So there's a spot in an arroyo high up in a canyon that you have to go up and go around and drop down to. And to get to it, it's nearly, I couldn't even give you directions to it, but to get there you have to pass between two stones. They're about shoulder high, and there's a little opening between them. There's a cactus that's kind of grown in it. It's like a stag cactus a bit, so you got to kind of get up on the rocks a little and kind of get over it, and then it drops down into this arroyo. It's a really odd place, and I got back in there, and it has the weathering stain of a seasonal waterfall on the one side, and it fits a lot of things. It's in a north-south trending canyon and a north-south arroyo, and the area is littered with just stuff that's fallen off the cliffs over the last 100 years. And we dug around in there, and we're kind of looking at it and realizing, wow, there's been a lot of activity. There was up in this arroyo a couple sections where it looked like someone had done some work on the walls, but we could never get any further. And then the biggest problem was, when we looked at it, we kind of were like, well, what do we do? Because someone down below would hear you. It's in the wilderness area, so you really can't move much material, do much. What interested me in it additionally was, if you were doing any type of mining and you were throwing the stuff down, it would just tumble down, because it's a very steep drop-offs below it. So you wouldn't have any tailings. You would be literally able to throw the tailings over and down this big crack and down this thing, which fit with walls of stuff. The one other thing we found that was really kind of odd was, there was this little, I was exploring the area, checking it out, and we were checking anything we could to see if there was anything left to do there. And it was weird. There was this pile of rocks, like a lookout area, and it was in the bushes, and it watched a trail and watched down the canyon, so you could have a clear view. And I was like, wow, somebody was here and did this. Very old. We couldn't see any sign anybody been there. Also, there was a shallow cave in some of the area, and there one time had been trees growing there. The trees were all dead, and there was some young trees, some saplings had grown up in there. So it catches water and actually grow up trees, which obscures the view even more. It's a very, very odd place, and I've never been able to make heads or tails of it. I always wanted to go out there with 4 or 5 people and then just pick a spot and throw rock off till see if we could find any bedrock up there or anything solid to see what's underneath it. The East End people almost had me convinced that the East End people. That the only clue they can't explain is no miner would ever find it within 30, 40, well, yeah, it's that, yeah, there's a lot of problems with that mine. Yeah, it's pretty easy to get to. I mean, I can direct someone to that. Anything would be difficult without the road systems and all that. But, yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense with the Petrash Thomas stuff. And that's where I think those guys started going more Holmes version and stuff. But, yeah, they really worked hard to fit it. But the worst part was when Waltz found it, supposedly was working it all that time. During that time period, there was other people out there working in those other mines. So you think he would have noticed the other people, or that people were working in the area. Still interested in the Spanish Fortress. I was looking the other day. And what was really interesting about it was I took Google Earth, which is so unreliable. It's such a piece of garbage. And I spun it around because I was actually following a trail and wanted to kind of map out some grid areas where I wanted to look. And I thought maybe it'll give me an idea of viewpoint, because I remember the view as you walk through the doorway and looked up the canyon. And I thought, well, I could probably, maybe that'll give me some sort of clear idea and I could get some distance if it's not that accurate. And it was such a piece of garbage. Nothing that I was seeing on Google Earth matched the actual terrain in the area I'm talking about. I was like, this doesn't even look like that area. And I've been in that area many a times. And I was like, this is, in fact, one trail went and then it just ends up a vertical cliff. And I'm like, no, that doesn't even exist. It's a trail that goes through there. So I don't know what it's doing. So that was kind of like there. When do you play chess? What? When do you? I don't play chess. Well, I play chess. We have a chess set, but I don't play with other people. Well, I play with Trevor. What we do is you go through the room and you look over and you make your move, and then someone else comes through and makes their move. We do that. World of Warcraft, never have played it. Trevor, that's a Trevor thing, man. I don't play any online games or anything like that. I did it one time, and then I just don't have any time for that stuff. It just consumes too much time. I don't know what he plays, and he's not here. Of course, he bugs out. He could tell you everything he's been playing. He plays online, because him and Tyler both are online all the time. And I hear them talking, and I'm, you like, what? And, yeah, so the boys play. I'm trying to think of what the one of the last things, I'm sure it's World of Warcraft, but there's a couple others that they play all the time. So there you go there. But yeah, the East Side stuff, there's gold, there's silver and all. It would have been just made too much sense. And he said no miner would find it, no miner prospector would look for it and expect it to be there, and no cowboy could get to it. Well, you can ride along that ridge. You can walk along that ridge pretty easy, and yeah, it makes sense. So, kind of fails there. But you know what? It's if someone wants, that's what they want to do, and put that feather in their cap, so forth. That's fine. Nobody's selling like 1 million books on it. So it is what it is. If someone wants to make that their testimonial that they believe that's what that is and they found it, that's perfectly fine. Fortnite. I know they play Fortnite. Yeah, they play Fortnite. Some other games. I don't know. I just see this stuff and I go, what's that? And then they tell me and then I shrug and I walk on. So sometimes I stop for a moment just to look and kind of wonder. Their basic strategy, it appears, for everybody, because I watch them when they're playing with other people, is the strategy appears to be everybody runs around and rebursts or whatever all the time, but that's not real life, and I'm just like, what? So they just get shot up and die all the time. But yeah, like I said, if Trevor was paying attention or even cared at all, he would be here, and he doesn't. He would come here and say, oh. So there we go. Back. I had a great day in the mountains, and it was good. It was good just to get that breather in, which I'm going to get to do for the next month and a half, next 2 months, pretty much off and on constant, which is always good. So I'm just kind of like, it's the wearing and tearing. So it's one of the nicest things about winter. I wish we could get in the mountains more and spend more time back in the mountains. But it's cold now. It's been very wet. And so that would be really tough right now. But yeah, we do have a plan on the Spanish Fortress type thing. I really want to find that and relocate it. I was just talking with someone this morning, and we were talking about going up and working that ridge. And like I said, I was trying to do was pinpoint. I know about where we were when we found that old pathway that guy showed us that way up. And I want to try to find that, and kind of not so much on like Google Maps or satellite imagery. I want to kind of coordinate that, and then get up the ridge, and then kind of put my GPS in about where we started, and it should give me something plus or minus a couple hundred yards where I kind of am in that. It is weird because with all the imagery, and I don't use Google Earth, Google Maps, and a lot of that stuff. I have other stuff. Is it doesn't show up, and I know what it looked like, so you would think it would be just very distinct. And I remember one of the most distinct things was in the inside of it. It was all grassy, like really green grassy. It was kind of like crazy, kind of Lord of the Rings, something like that. It was really weird. And I thought, man, that would really stand out. But of course, size-wise, it would be very small to look at. But yeah, I've looked and looked and looked, so it's gonna take a physical go up there and do it. So I figured that it's gonna probably do the cave trail trip, not go up Devil's Slide, but go out that way and then follow the ridge. There's another cave that Randy Wright and I found back there on the back side of that area. We never explored, and I want to actually go and explore that. It's in a pretty awful spot to really want to go explore, but I really want to kind of like check that cave out because we looked at it a bunch of times and kind of planned out how we were going to get to it. I think we moved on to something else and never finished that. How about the Indian camp that is on the Dutchman map? How many Indian camps are there? I mean, what Indian camp? It could have been an old Hohokam ruin. Something like that. The Apaches didn't have many permanent camps, and the Superstitions, they might have some rancheros, but they would move on from them. They were more nomadic. So when it comes to the Hohokams, I could probably, and I'm not going to put a map out of them, but of ruins, pit houses, and stuff through the Superstitions, there's probably hundreds. So which one are you talking about? And if you want to talk about the stone house in a canyon, there's quite a few of those. I mean, a house in a cave, well, Geronimo's Cave, which was not Geronimo's Cave, but that originally had walls. The crematory rock where they used to burn the bodies used to have walls up around it and an opening at it. A lot of spots had that. There's quite a few throughout the mountains. And I'm being very careful not to give stuff away because one of the problems is people steal stuff or cause all kinds of problems with these sites. So we generally like find them and then they're kind of passed along. The Forestry Service, nobody else really does anything with them, but you'd like them just to be left alone and be out there. Have you ever mapped out all the areas you've explored? Yes, I have them. I have several maps. I have a bunch of stuff that I know Tom Collenborn did, and I'm always adding to it. I'll be talking to someone and say, Shoes will tell me some stories. And I'll say, well, where was that? Where was that? Where was that? And then eventually I go over and have him on a topo map, mark everything out. And then he'll come up with a couple other things. And then I always add those in. And then I usually take and start making master maps off of that stuff. So between a number of different people over the years, I have that. Not only just places I've been, but where other people have found certain things. And I always look at it in relationship to stuff. And Tom printed his map in Helen Corbin's book. Both. I think it's in Curse of the Dutchman and the Bible. I think there's partial maps of some of his stuff. Those aren't probably the best ones. And I know several people got some things like that, but yeah, we would always compare. So kind of because, I found this, and this. Oh, where was that? Okay, I was here. Well, here's where this is. Did you ever go through here? Have you ever seen this in here? No, where is it? And then they put an X and key them up. So sometimes it's to protect the sites, so you can go check things out and look at things that other people have seen and look at it in relationship of other stuff. But a lot of times, some of the better sites, you're just trying to be protective. I am always surprised that Rogers Canyon, the ruins there, have survived as long as they have, because people are generally jackasses and they always screw shit up. And you can see where someone walked on the roof there and went through at one time. So what about the Rogers Ridge where it lines up with the gun site? You want to find gun sites in the mountains? Oh my gosh, come on. That's just like, four peaks line up as one. Does it mean you can see all four at once, or they line up at once, which happens in several different locations you can see them from? As far as the gun site type of stuff, I don't know. I don't remember, there's clues that you go through and you go, was that really a clue? Did he tell them that? And how would he tell them, certain clues? You had Herman Petrat, or not Herman, but Reinhardt and Julia. And then they get stuff so wrong because descriptively they would have had at least that right. They might have went to the wrong area, but they would have the right things that he told them. And so then you got to start looking at these different things. And the gun sight thing was never a big thing to me. Certain aspects, I think it's more of, I always look to as it's in, this canyon and the thicket and this and that. What you're looking for is more elevated and higher up. There are some people that search for literally a lode mine down lower in the mountains and think he was plastering by that, and all the rest of it's gibberish. So what do you do about that? Because that's just like, oh great, you're on a whole set of new clues that you fancied up yourself. So okay, we got people missing with stuff destroyed, taking things. Yeah, that's always a problem. Got to go. Thanks for the time, Wayne. Well, thank you for your time. Thanks for fielding a few of my questions. Always try to catch up with those stuff. Long-time fan, but this is my first live. Take it easy. I will. So I'm trying to enjoy the day the best I can. Like I said, I'm kind of tired. And I just kind of, like I said, just coming in and like bang in and boom, throws the dog some treats, and then come in here, and then the nightmare of trying to get this up and running. Which we got it, so we're here, and I know everybody's thankful, and I'm thankful we got it in. I know there's always people I look forward to seeing, and sometimes you don't see people for a while, and then they pop in, and you're like, man, it was really good to see that they're there, because it also lets you know, throws out and lets you know people are well, But it also is probably the best connecting you can do sometimes with people and all that. So there's Gil Gold Prospecting, San Antonio, Texas, where every day is a golden day. He's been really busy, lucky to catch up with you. Yeehaw. Yeah, and like I said, everybody gets busy. I try to make this kind of routine. And like I said, I just didn't think about the 6 weeks of the period of time and then the hike we had planned, so I still want to be in on these lives right now. But I got to run and literally try to get right back to this unless I can figure out a way out there to do it, which it would be really jerky and really tough because it would be a lot of buffering and problems. So it's better that I come in and do them like this. Unless, I guess I could do it nearby there and sit in the truck and do something live from the iPhone. But yeah, it's just kind of that, wow, the logistics of doing these sorts of things. And that's where I take my hat off to a lot of people that get committed and do this stuff and put all the time and effort in and do what they do very professionally. Because I'm like, I saw one of those microphones that, you put in, and it has the little thing and it kind of comes down and looks really professional, like a radio DJ and stuff. I was like, ooh, I should get that. And then I was like, why? So there you go. Fridays begin with your video each week. There you go. Great way to kick off the weekend for all of us. Well, there you go. And that's the way I kind of end my Friday almost, because after I get done with this, it's kind of that exhaustion of just sit on the couch, try to get something to eat, relax, and then it's a shower and sleep. It's literally like that quick. So, yeah, and I know everybody does appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody jumps in and joins in and does this stuff. So it's to me, that's always a cool thing that, I get to see everybody. And like I said, there's people sometimes you don't see for a while, and then they pop in and you're like, whoa, okay, there's that person and all. And that means they're well. And then you can usually tell by kind of what they're throwing out. But yeah, so go back to it. But yeah, great day in the mountains. It was, it could have been better. Could have had a nice chair and laid out and just taken a nap all day and still been out there. That would have worked. Pink quartz, titanium. Okay. I appreciate for doing these streams, sharing information. These people just want to get paid and never see a dime from me. Hey, bro. Hey. Yeah, that's weird how people do stuff, and we talked about it. I'm not going to ever go back into it at length because the way it kind of rubbed me the wrong way is that some of the most popular people literally just make up stuff, fake it. And because most people aren't obsessive or passionate about a lot of stuff, they don't understand that this person just told them a bucket full of lies. There's a lot of people like that. I try to always, like I said, show sources, tell you books to read, this and that, and tell you to separate the different things about my opinion from facts and different things. Where is Woody Wampler? He's at his house, running his sluice box. could be running a sluice box. He could be just sitting at the table playing cards. He could be down in town shooting pool. Had COVID all week. It's been brutal. Tired. It always sucks when you got COVID. And then people get COVID and they're tired. And everybody's COVID, it appears, is different. And everybody's recovery is different. So that makes it just even worse. Because it's just like one of those things. I'm sure it has to do with the strength of the person's immune system and other things. So it kind of makes it rough. Makes it really rough. I'm trying to look at this thing because Trevor sets stuff up and I look around and I'm always trying to see how it all is working and stuff. No, he's supposed to write it down so I understand it, know what I'm looking at and what I'm reading on the numbers, and he doesn't. But anyways, I'm glad to see you're better, or hopefully getting better. Why did you come up when I typed superstition? Because Superstition Mountains, because that would be one of our key words. So if you type superstition, it's Superstition Mountain. So it's when you go to all of them, they're the superstitions. So yes, that would be that. There's tag words in YouTube that you put up for things. One of mine would be Wayne Tuttle. So if you type in Wayne Tuttle, you can find Wayne Tuttle videos. Chasing Legends would be Legend of the Superstition Mountains. And obviously Legend of the Superstition Mountains, Superstition would be part of that too. And Superstition's plural, so that's why that. But that's when you do YouTube, they ask you, I don't know, there's like 20 keywords that you put in. And they actually check it and make sure they're relevant. I can't just put in Minecraft and Pokemon and stuff that'll just drive a bunch of people there. It has to be relevant to the search of what we do. I was searching for Stevie Wonder. There you go. That's how you ended up in the black land of where we were. I'm looking for a new amp. What's that Vox you got there in the background? How is it? I don't like it. It's the Valvetronics. It has various settings, AC 30. You can get different tones and stuff. I like amplifiers that don't, how do I put this the best, that don't have a lot of buttons to push. I want something tube. I like tube. I like tubes, and then I like just volume, mid, treble, this, that. I will tell you the best amplifier you can buy for your money, if you have the money to buy one, is a Fender Twin Reverb tube amp. One of the best amps ever made. It is really good. A Vox AC30, which is pretty heavy. Unfortunately, usually the ones that are pretty good are pretty heavy, and I like those little 10-watt Marshalls. I have one that I need to get fixed because it doesn't work anymore. I loved that one. But actually right behind there is one of those Hot Rod Deluxes, Fenders. And you can't see it. I don't know. I'm not going to bother moving stuff, but it's in a cover. So you got the Line 6, which it's got a lot of buttons again. I like something that's plain, and I can run effects too if I want something specific. The Vox is okay, and it's kind of nice, but I just wasn't. I have a Fender Champion. It's down here. The Fender Champion's pretty good. It doesn't have a lot going on in it, but it gives you pretty much a nice, good, just straight up sound without a lot of effects. And then the Marshalls are pretty good. Marshall's pretty good about not putting extra buttons on it. Everything is just normal and reverb. So I want, like I said, I want volume. I don't mind a master or presence. I want reverb. I want my treble, my bass, my mid, and that's it. And it's nice to have a foot switch. It's nice to have a warm-up switch, which generally I think it's Fenders almost always do. The bigger Fenders have that warm-up switch on it, which this one does. It's a little weird. I'll try to remember and have it out, visible, next time we do live. It's a heavy monster. That's the one problem. If it's something you want to move around, it's heavy, but it has a 12-inch Celestion in it, 40 watts, and it's loud. It does make noise. So if you're looking for a loud amp, that is a good loud amp, and it also I haven't plugged it in to the Marshall 412 yet. I want to see how it sounds through the 412. Let's see. Are you a singer? Not that I know of. Okay, let's go up here. Looking for a new amp. So I was searching for Stevie Wonder. We did that. I'm hoping the mystery of what happened to the cash and metal detecting gear went missing on the show will be solved one day. I think that was solved. Someone sold it in a pawn shop. I think that was I really do. I think it was an insurance deal. I don't know what went on with it. That's something for Magnuson and some other people to speak on. Because I went by there and that stuff wasn't in that hole. Better question, where would you dig for placerful? Fish Creek sounds off limits. Fish Creek is not off limits. You could do it down there. We just never found any gold. Everything we've sampled down through Fish Creek. The gold we found was up by Black Cross Butte. It was in the rock. And it's just going to make you go broken crazy to get it out. Frank found some nice pieces, but it's matrixed into the rock and the ground. But I liked Fish Creek. It's just we found some silver in there. Play us some Ted Nugent Stranglehold. I actually was thinking of that song last night. That's funny. Happy Friday. Pet your beautiful dogs for me. My dogs didn't come in. They didn't visit today. I like your voice. Are you a singer? What is that tiny guitar? The tiny guitar is that. It's a tiny guitar. It's Trevor got me kind of a 59 Les Paul guitar. Yeah, I think he picked it up in Spain. So he got that for me. And it kind of... I'm not a big one on the pick guards. I've taken them off. I know that one has one. The Burgundy guitar has one. But generally I don't like pick guards on the guitars. So we don't want to hear me sing. Oh yeah, has anyone already asked you what you think about the road repair out there? What road repair? Oh, about Fish Creek Hill? Yeah, I mean, it's been asked and been talked about. I know they came up with several different possible solutions and what they're going to plan on trying to do. I really just don't think they're going to do anything. I think they're going to take forever to get anything, and that's forever like, Sandlot. Forever. Yeah, they're just wasting time. It's actually going to become more of a headache if they don't do anything. So, but and as far as the tiny guitar, Trevor's bought a series of them from Europe, little handcrafted little guitars and stuff. So I have a bunch of different ones, a little acoustic. They don't play, but they're really cool. They're really kind of cool. So but yeah, amps. I don't know. Amps are really tough for me because I would say if you can get a blues breaker, or if you can get a nice little Marshall with a 12-inch Celestine or something. It depends what you need, what you're looking for, what you want. I really do like the Marshall, and I like the half stack. Because I like it to breathe. But it's different. The one beautiful thing about a Fender Twin reverb is that when it's low, it still has kind of a nice tone, something really sweet about it. When you get into the Marshalls, they got to warm up and they have to start to open up to really get a great tone, in my opinion. Now, everybody hears something different, so, beauty to the beholder, right? So, I always tell people, get what you want, what you have fun with. I prefer, and I have my effects and stuff all over the place here. In fact, here's my Bad Monkey. Like the Bad Monkey, but and I have wah pedals and I have big muffs and different things and a Marshall Governor. So it's a Marshall Governor, right, or is it Gibson Governor? I can't remember which one. Anyways, I have different stuff. I have my my Tube Screamer. I have an 8 and 9 TS8 and a TS9, and I like if you know what that stuff is, you'll understand. But I like certain things. And I use them differently for whatever, but I'd rather put the effect in the line and use it the way I like. And then have it in the amps. I don't like it in the solid state amps because it just seems to mess up the signal for me. And when I hear it recorded, it sounds off. Off-road vehicles. Hi, Wayne. You do any closer to the gold mine? Then when you first started looking. Well, I don't even know when I first started looking. That's something to always approach. I don't know when I really became kind of looking for the mine. When I first went in the mountains and I first started going even in there by myself more and more, I was looking at everything that everybody else had looked at. So I was going there because I wanted, to me it was a huge deal. Oh, where's this place? Oh, it's over here. I want to stand there. I want to be in the spot where they found Adolf Ruth's skull. I want to be in the spot where they found his body. I want to be in this spot. I want to be in that spot. That was a lot of years of just trying to cover that ground and look at all that. And that's what I think a lot of people do, is because you're trying to put together pieces of what other people did and why they went there, and then kind of associate and look at that stuff and say, okay, is there a reason this person was here? So, Blacktop Mesa, great place. What about the Black Hand group TV show where you guys stay off tribal lands? Okay, that's the Black Legion, not Blacktop Mesa, of which a lot of expressions. The Black Legion story, I think we talked about it. We did a video, we talked a bit about it. It was these handprints that were left on cars, and they were outlined handprints, and they were meant as warnings to people. Ed Piper always was told that a certain time of the year, someone from Apaches would tell him he needed to leave a certain area or not go in a certain area. Glenn McGill talked about a certain area that they needed to leave alone. So it's always kind of saw as like were people messing with burial grounds or certain pieces of the area they shouldn't be in. And there are places in the mountains where people don't really have any business. And people do stumble upon them, and you hope the people that do just realize what that is and just keep their mouths shut. To me, it's, do you really want someone digging up your parents or desecrating or doing something like that? Why would people want to do it to others? And so generally it's just kind of like steer clear of that sort of thing. Over time you're going to run into it if you spend enough time in the mountains, and then you learn that just you don't want the bad vibes, and it's purely a respect thing on my part, is you just don't want to mess with that stuff because it's just wrong. It's someone's relative and they were put there, and out of a sign of respect you just want to leave those things alone. I know a lot of people have probably picked up a lot of olas, and they've brought them out of the mountains and not realizing that somebody's ashes were in there. And it's just, is that really, the right thing to do if someone did that for a reason and purpose? So again, that's one of the reasons we keep very quiet on a lot of certain sites and certain things. And when we were filming, there were certain things we would talk about and do. And the Black Legion was kind of always kind of a different thing. I think it was in Estee Conisters, and I've always tried to research and talk to a number of people. And you have your believers, and then the people that just go, oh yeah, roll their eyes and act like, yeah, that BS. And then there's like kind of a middle ground in there. There was someone that told me a couple stories out by Fish Creek and Horse Mesa about a few things, and there's a few things I've seen that I would say there's something to something at times, but it's always, you're never quite sure relationship wise of how many years, how far it goes back, how many generations. Is it something more recent and stuff? Is it the club of the month? So, and what happened with us in the mountains was more or less, and I'll get to this couple of the stuff, but it was kind of a thing of like, I would sit down and talk and tell stories. And Wayne can only do so much, so we got to have someone else do something. And one of the big mistakes in it was, it doesn't mean you're the expert in everything, but you kind of have a feel for it. And I kind of understood and was trying to relate those things. There was a big problem when we filmed. I hate to kind of be distractive here and kind of jumping around. We were filming one day actually up in Fish Creek, up by Fish Creek, not in Fish Creek. And we wasted an entire day filming because of certain things the production group did and certain things they wanted to kind of like put into the show. And I had a meltdown about, and I wasn't being a good guy. I was just saying, I kind of get tired of like the same old, and everybody's an expert on everything, and then you're going to portray us like this, and some of this is absolute crap, and I hate that because you're exploiting. I mean, on one side, is there such a thing as cultural appropriation? Because even the people culturally appropriate all the time. And but is it a good thing? Bad? I really was trying to make a point to them as saying, let's just not go into the typical BS that people like to do, where everybody's like, you come out. It's hard to explain because kind of what I'm trying to say here is, but you get out in the res, it's a depressing place. And there's people that spent their lives there, and it's a very difficult place for everything that they have to go through their lives. And go to Bilis sometime. Wonderful things there. And I was kind of looking at it as, you want to be supportive and make people feel a little proud of their history, and you want to kind of like, in a way, display this through the television show, put people on the right path, the right book, right certain things. And it doesn't mean just because you read it, you can be it. And that was... What did you type? Holus? Holus? Hoyas? Hoyas is whole. Ola is a pot. Anyways, you got two different words there. I don't know. I think is that a Black Eyed Peas song there? Olas and Oyas. No, Hoya is a hole, pit, something like that. Ola, which starts with an O, not an H. Ola is like a pot. I should have just said pot and we could have been done with it. What is it? Frank, I don't know what that bit was. Frank, okay. Frank lost track of the metal detectors. That was unnerving. He didn't lose track of the metal. That was Magnuson. Magnuson decided to stick them under that rock. And then came back and then claimed they never got them. And then they got in the boat and they left. And I walked right by there. I was the last man out of the mountains. I looked in there to make sure they grabbed everything. There was nothing there. So they were gone. I don't think you guys give Frank a rough enough time. Oh, he gets plenty of rough times. The worst time Frank gets is when it's just me and Frank. We can joke and kid. If I'm going to really give him crap, it's going to be just when it's me and him alone. So there you go. So you guys aren't privy to some of the hardest stuff. But, But yeah, I think everybody knows what I'm saying is that Hollywood has stuff they want to do stereotype, and they want inclusiveness, and they want to always embrace this and stuff. But they kind of do the wrong thing by kind of what they're doing. And it's just like today, someone who's born, who has, let's say they have a full-blooded Apache mother and father, and they're born in Phoenix or Mesa, and they grow up and their grandparents, they have a grandparent that still lives out at San Carlos, and they visit, or someone, up White Mountain res, and they visit once in a while, and they just kind of, it's kind of like for someone that has a grandparent that lived in the hills in Appalachia or something, and they don't connect with a lot of that, and you want them to kind of like look at their culture and their heritage and not be ashamed of it and not make it look stupid. And that's maybe the thing I was really trying to convey is I felt like they were trying to make things look stupid. It was kind of like 50-50, I always thought, The Apaches liked to war and do stuff to people, and then the Mexicans taught them a lot of cruel crap, and we taught them cruel crap, and then we learned cruel crap from them as well. So it was a give and take, and it was something that happened. And if you ever, there's a book I'm reading currently, and maybe next time I'll bring it up and I'll have it here. It's on, it's basically about Cochise, but it's a lot of the journals and letters and reports from that time period talking about the Apache. And when you realize how distinctly different people's views were, there were people that were sympathetic. There were people also felt like every one of them needed to be murdered and boiled and put out. And it's because of what happened to people. Great movie to watch is Hostiles. It doesn't do the whole thing justice, but it was a well done piece of like, when you're in that spot, both sides do not see the other side and at all. And then later it's like moving mountains to do that. And I just felt Hollywood and I say Hollywood in general, but I think they always will make the mistake of trying to celebrate it and say things or make it so traumatic. Bad shit happens to everybody. That's unfortunate. But don't make it where everybody... And what was it, the girl? Remember the girl? Wasn't it the woman? Was it the woman that did the declining of the Oscar for Marlon Brando? Didn't it turn out she wasn't even Native American? I mean, that's the thing, is it all just keeps coming back in reverse, and it's leave it alone. Tell a story. If it's a Native American people, quit using Puerto Ricans and Mexicans and other people. Use Native Americans and Native American roles, which is cool. And you don't have to create roles out of nothing and stuff. But I just see it as, I just saw the whole thing as like they were trying to manufacture Apaches, and I hated the idea of doing it for our show. That's probably the best way to sum it up. I felt they were trying to manufacture just not things to happen. They were trying to manufacture Apache story and so forth. And I really didn't like the idea of that because I didn't think it was necessary. We can talk about it. We can talk about some of the history or this or that in the show. But they wanted to manufacture things. And I said, it's bad enough as it is without creating more crap. I've kept a mind-blowing discovery under wraps. There you go. For 10 years. Now unsure whom to trust. I need seek guidance. What steps should I take? There's a desire for my share of shady insights, the Dutchman's mind. You think you have something, then the first thing you want to do is have photographs, bring out actual samples of ore that somebody can look at and stuff, and then you just have to weigh it off and take your chances of who you want to trust. That's what I would always say. I'm never going to tell someone how to trust or who to trust and what, because you never know. Someone I could trust very, very much because of my relationship with them may not be the same person who worked with you in that regard. So I'm sorry, I'm not a lot of help. But I would do all the things to get things in line to be able to prove it. There's nothing where someone comes in and says, oh, this great solution, but I can't show you, but I'll show you this blurry, crappy photo and stuff. It does nothing for someone, and it will cause people to turn and walk away. What Hollywood doesn't understand is when it comes to history, a lot of people want the truth. But there's always my truth, your truth, which is very true. They're about a litter of puppies and kittens if you need any relic hunting companions. 3 points south of Manpatchies. I live in Australia. Well, that's a long way away. How did you find the Dutchman in Australia? You should meet with Chris Undertaking. He is in Australia. There you go. See, he offered somebody. But, yeah, I think people understand is what I'm saying is that just, it's not, I hate the word cultural appropriation. It's the manufacturing. And you can read all these old books and stuff with these journals and letters, and you realize there were people that sympathized. But I felt like even today, they're trying to make up, and they're just leaving out better parts of the truth. And there is a truth. There is a side. I mean, if you just want to take something, you can say, this person was wrong, and this person was right. But at the same time, this person that was wrong, from where they were coming from, they couldn't have seen it for being wrong, because it really wasn't in that time, place, and social understanding wasn't going to be wrong. So you can have different sides of truths. And that is what all that is. And it's, it's sometimes difficult to wrap around. Now, there's also a thing called barefaced lies. So let's not kid ourselves about that. There are people that just lie outright about garbage. So, yeah, we made it past 5 o'clock, so I did my thing. We started off flying, and we got in there and got running a little late, but we got it in, so that was very cool. And now I'm going to get to have me some barbecue, because that's what I want. I want some barbecue and some baked potato tonight. Hot shower, and then back in the mountains tomorrow. So thank you, everybody, for joining. It was really, how about Larry Hedrick? Can you interview him more? He is a treasure house of historical knowledge about the superstitions. Larry does the thing with those guys over there. I talked to Larry on the phone. I asked Larry once, I told Larry, I said, because me and Charlie LeSueur talked about it. You guys film us doing our thing, and then we'll film our thing, and then we'll put them out, and it'll be kind of a little weird little meet in the middle thing. No competition here. I mean, crap. I had my own TV show. So I'm not competing with anybody. And then I told Larry, I said, well, you want to, tell this story or talk about this stuff if you're not doing anything and stuff. And Larry kind of shied away from it. So we'll talk on the phone. We have a good time, whatever. I don't know. That's whatever he's doing with that. So I'm fine with Larry. I don't know. It's just, he feels like he's running out of stories. I don't know. I don't want to put words in his mouth. But I think he's got plenty. There's a road to run. I don't know what they're doing over there. I have no idea what's going on with them, to be completely honest. I have nothing to do. I talked to Charlie a bit, and then I knew Hank a bit. I knew Jack Sanfelice, and Jack kind of walked away from all that and for whatever his problems are, and that's his own personal issue and stuff. And we talked to Jack, and Jack for a while there was thinking about going back into YouTube. We told him we would help him out, set him up, and he could just do his own thing. And we would film it and then just put it together for him, and he could have his own thing, Jack Sanfelice show. And Jack was kind of into it, and then I think he got really on the last book, and then this next book he's working on. And I think that's where his heart is right now, and that's fine too. So, always help everybody out. So if Larry had something he really wanted to say and wanted to get it out for somehow or one reason, we would do it. But I don't know. And I told Larry, I said, let's do something. We could do something. I told the one I wanted to do with Larry. So this is what everybody would love. I said, Larry, I'll do one of your shows. You do one of my shows, and we'll put it on the other way. And you could be, hi, I'm Larry Hedrick, and welcome to Chasing Legend. Something like that. I thought that would be so funny to screw everybody up, because they are different audiences to some degree. And Larry was like, oh, absolutely not. We can't do that. And I was like, nah, that would be fun. So I guess that's the big difference sometimes, huh? I'm fun. Hey, David and Lacey. Okay, you guys are always separate. You're always separately watching your own thing. So keep him in the kennel, Lacey. I get it. He's in the kennel in the garage. Go Gold Prospecting, bugging out of supper time. Yeah, it's supper time, man. Okay, chopping T-bone. Good for you. Thank you, Wayne. No problem, Steve. Same, some barbecue prime rib with salad. Yeah, so that's sounds good. Absolutely, always do. Yeah, keep him in line. Which, I was so close to when I did my top 10 things. If everybody watched the Chasing Legends this last week, of 10 things I discovered or found, or I was going to put the alligator head in there. I was going to do that because I thought, people get mad at me for things I do, and I'm not going to get them pissed off at me that, well, why'd you put the alligator head in there? Well, because it's very cool. I like the alligator head. That was really cool, man. So, oh no, it was a really cool thing. So I have an alligator head. So I thought that was a pretty cool thing. Maybe I needed to put a piece of gold in his mouth. He's weighing the audience, please. We can get back more subscribers. Yeah, and the subscribers don't matter. The views don't matter, because it doesn't really accurate portray what we're doing. I understand that, and I will. Maybe someday we'll do a thing about YouTube and how this all works, and what you're seeing with some people and other people and how it all does. It's kind of boring. Gold grill for the gator. Yes, he's a rapper. But maybe sometime we'll do that. But I don't like to do it because it's just like, hey, if you like something or if you like watching something, just watch it. Who cares? If you don't like watching something or you get bored, we all get bored. There's stuff I like, and then I get bored of it, and then I go watch something else. And sometimes I come back, oh, they got new content. And sometimes I come back and go, oh, they changed. That sucks. But we all go our own ways and find our own stuff. And this channel just continues to grow and grow. The bit slowest part of it, to be honest with you, Stephen, is we got so much content now and so many hours of program. It's hard for everybody. If somebody comes new into it, it's a lot to go through. I mean, it's a lot to digest. So, but the one thing I will tell you is, we mash it up. We do something different all the time. We do not repeat ourselves. And that is very, very clear. I've made sure we've been very specific of. I check to make sure I'm not doing the same video over and over and over and over, or running stuff back out on people. I always believe it has to be original content to some large degree for us to do it. So that's a cool thing. I'm proud of myself for that. I'll pat myself on the back and feel good about it. There you go. So I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to get the grill fired up and get some ribs cooking and smoking out there, because that's what I want. I am hungry. Mountains make a person hungry. Tub shorts and black. Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. I am going to get out of here finally for now because it's been quite a while. I ran in, fed the dogs, came and did this, and I want a cigarette and then I want to eat. So you guys have a great time. Have a great weekend. Catch us on Monday on Chasing Legends. I'll be in the mountains just smiling and just enjoying the breeze. All right. Until the next time, thank you, everybody, and have yourselves a wonderful and great weekend. And good night. And I have no idea where the end control on this is. He did it to me again. Trevor! See, there's usually a button that says stop video. And the video's gone. This is like a nightmare. See, there's no button that says stop. There's no button that says stop. There's not a button that says launch either. There's no button that says that. All right, I don't know. I see, and I don't want to mess with anything and make it where it doesn't save. Extended remix. Yes. And I say Trevor's name, and what does Trevor do? He comes right in, right? He just flies in like, what do you need? And there's no one here. Okay, see if we can get Trevor on the phone. I would be done in preparing to eat. Let's see if he will answer his phone. Here we are, and he's not going to answer his phone.
Hello?
Hey, hello. There is no, just end live or nothing on here. So you need to walk in this room because all these people, I've been saying goodbye to them for 5 minutes. Oh, my God. Oh, and then he hangs up on me. Gatorhead coming up. Well, maybe we need to do a puppet show with the Gatorhead. Puppet show. I like puppet shows. Puppet show would be good. Okay, we're getting ready to say goodbye. He's coming in any second now. Boom! Here he comes.
I'm getting text messages from Grandma telling me you need my help.
Well, yeah, because your grandma's here. Oh, she lurks. All right, so there we go. Thank you. Bye-bye.
You gonna click it?
Okay, what is that? Okay, end stream. So there we are. Wave, Trevor. Wave goodbye. Oh, we're in the delay shit again, aren't we?
You just click it.